We are officially less than a week away until dreams are made, hearts are broken, and seasons are already in the tank, and some have already won their Super Bowl. But there's one particular team that has this draft by the horns. Well, not literally, but literally, they hold the tickets as to how this thing can fly and where it may go. Who that team is, you may ask? You guessed it. Find out on this edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style.
The autumn winds move like the thunderous waves of Neptune's sacred palace. And here, amongst the blackened soil, lies the ragged hands, worn, torn, and callous. They await with cunning and vicious prowess, for the warriors have returned. Come on, Dave! Don't do it! No way! Ready for crying out loud! You're driving me nuts! But behold.
Welcome back, Gabbers. Thank you guys so much for joining us here on this draft, on another draft edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style. Again, you are joined by the one and only Mr. CeeLo. And Gabbers, I want to start by giving a huge gab out to my wife, whose birthday was last week. Happy birthday, dear. Love you. As well as giving a gab out to my baby brother, my mentor, my favorite defensive coordinator, as well as my favorite guy to watch and break down offensive plays with. Gab out to you, little brother. Love you. And while we're here, I want to give a huge gab out to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, for who makes this all possible. I wouldn't be nothing without him. I love him to death. And thank him so much for giving me the strength and the knowledge to do this. But guys, here we are. Less than a week away. And guys, there's one team that holds the tickets, the fuel, to this whole draft. And no, it ain't the Raiders. Because unless something crazy happens on Thursday night that the Raiders have just been playing with, Fernando Mendoza is going to be a Raider. And there ain't nothing changing that right now. I think he's pretty much got his jersey sealed and done. He is going to be that dude. Which means all the other prospects are being screened by the New York Jets. Now, I get it. So many people are wondering. This is obvious. The Jets need wide receivers. Well, so do the Cleveland Browns. You could argue so do the Chiefs. You could argue a couple other teams on this list. The Giants. And we've heard some rumors that the Jets were willing to take Carnell Tate at number 2. Me personally, I don't think so. But let's not get too deep into it. Here's why I say the Jets hold the keys and the gas to this draft. Because it's not written in stone who they're going to get. The needs that they have fit every single player in the top 5. Every player in the top 5, the Jets need it. You know, if they could put all 5 of these guys, those 5 guys being David Bailey, Arvell Reese, Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Love, and you could even top 6. Well, yeah, the top 5 remaining. Sonny Styles. You put all of these guys on the Jets, they'd be starting. Yeah. And a lot of people say, well, yeah, duh. A lot of people would say, well, Jeremiah Love would be starting over Breece Hall. Yes! The dude's a TD threat waiting to happen every time he touches the football. Now, you can't say that definitively about Breece Hall. Sorry, like the kid, not Jeremiah Love. So, why this is so important, as I said, all 5 of the remaining guys in this top 10, the top 5 guys here have a possibility of going there. So, it's a question whether or not, let's say you have somebody like a Tennessee or a Cleveland that's like, Carnell Tate's the number 1 dude they want on their board. How bad do they want him? And I think ultimately there's a lot of smoke coming out of there because Cleveland really wants him. And they want that position if they trade down. Because they realize if, let's say, the Cardinals are another trade down candidate. That's the only fear factor that I see with this whole thing. Tennessee, not so much. I think we pretty much know where they want to go. They're hoping Sonny Styles is a guy that not a lot of people are high on. I'm seeing him as being the dude that they want. I could be wrong, but that's where my projections are. Sonny Styles is the guy that you look at. Robert Saleh would love to have on this team. And then there's the Giants, who also have a love affair with Sonny Styles. You could very well see 2 or 3 teams go after Sonny Styles. And I think Tennessee could be one, but I also think Ruben Bain is also a big guy that they would have a lot of love for. I think ultimately it could be 3 or 4 guys that Robert Saleh likes. And I think the Jets, for the most part, can seriously disrupt a lot of plans. I think ultimately that Cardinals, Browns, Titans, and Giants, all their draft plans could go up in smoke. I think they're going to have to go into this draft with at least 4 different plans, possibly 5. Because theoretically, if you go in there, let's say you're the Cardinals, and you're walking in there, and which I don't believe any of these pass rushers is their dream individual. They want to be able to rebuild this line. I've heard so many guys close. They're not talking about what the organization is saying, but I'm hearing a lot of people around the Arizona Cardinals. They want Francis Maui Noah. They want this kid. And we've heard Mel Kiper Jr. say it. We've had a couple of other analysts say this. He is... Let me stop. But the Jets have to be remotely careful whom they trade with if they decide to trade. That's where I'm at with it. Because I've said it before and I've said it again. The Jets have a setup for the lottery. You've got 4 picks in the first 44 picks. And if you play the numbers correctly, you could very well walk out of here with a max number of 5. Now, and let me explain what I'm saying. A lot of you are going to say, we don't need a bunch of firsts. Okay, you don't think so. But what I'm saying is you need to get, if everything works the way it should, you could very well get 2 picks out of the Cleveland Browns. Let's say you get the 2 picks. Okay, you're going to get the 6th and the 24th. Now, you make your move on one of the guys that you fall in love with because you're going to get one of them. Now, the only difference is you may not get the one you want. You may end up in a situation where you get, let's say David Bailey's gone. Let's say Arvell Reese is gone. Let's say Carnell Tate is gone. That would probably leave you with that being in the 6th spot. You got 2, 3, 4, 5. You could possibly have, and this is just a rough estimate, you probably would end up anyone from anywhere to Sonny Styles, Jeremiah Love, Arvell Reese. You might be fortunate enough to get David Bailey, but I'm hearing a lot of love that is going towards David Bailey because Arvell Reese is a rough edge rusher. He's more of a Jalen Walker type linebacker or Trayvon Walker in Jacksonville. Not a lot of refined skills at pass rushing. He was basically a linebacker that blitzed at times, and he would need some refining. So the question is, do you take a guy whose upside is massive, or do you take a guy who has been an edge rusher most of his career in David Bailey, a guy like Sonny Styles as well, who has the potential to blitz and play both linebacker positions? So the Jets are going to get one of these guys. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, why are you talking about Jeremiah Love? Well, because here's the reality. Your offense was not good. And now you get a guy like Garrett Wilson back. And I get it. Breece Hall was hurt a lot of last season. And the thing about it is, if you can get that home run threat, not only does Jeremiah Love line up in the backfield, but he can line up in the slot and he can line up on the outside. And then he is the next generation Christian McCaffrey. You got teams that don't understand. When you hear people, Mel Kiper wasn't crazy when he said he was the best player in this year's draft. Now, a lot of people say he is the 5th best player, but a lot of that is based on rankings of the position. I feel not just because I'm a Notre Dame fan, but because of his multitude of ways of hurting you. He can beat you on all 3 levels of the pass game. And look, he's pretty good at picking up the blitz. That was one of the things he wanted to improve on in South Bend, and he did it. But the Jets hold the entire passport for this draft. Now, you've got the Cowboys with 2 firsts. You've got the Dolphins with 2 firsts. And you got the Browns. You've got the Chiefs. Chiefs as well. You've got basically... You basically got picks number 6, picks number 9, picks 11 and 12 with 2 first-round picks. I got a feeling, guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, I got a feeling it's going to be interesting to see who comes up with the nastiest package to play with that number 2 pick. Because honestly, it's a good position to be in, but then it's a bad position to be in. Because ultimately, if you get stuck with a minute 30 left and you haven't gotten a deal that you feel is juicy enough, you got to decide where you're going. This is the one draft where you kind of like, ugh. Because if you're the Jets, you got to be looking at yourself and you got to be saying, okay, do I want a pure edge rusher in David Bailey? Do I want a guy like Arvell Reese who can play both positions and then become a pass rusher on 3rd downs? What do I want? And then you've got to decide, because I'm going to be honest with you, what would be cool to me if the Jets stay put, you take a guy like Arvell Reese, and then later on you take a guy like Keldrick Falk. Of course, trade down. You don't have to get him that high. But you trade down, and then you get Keldrick Falk to be on the field on 3rd down, on 1st and 2nd down situation to help in the run attack. And then you put Arvell Reese on the other side, and let's say you snatch somebody in this 2nd round, someone like a C.J. Allen or a Jacob Rodriguez, and he could play in Arvell Reese's spot. Interesting. But guys, if the Jets can make a massive move with number 2, not get so caught up in we're going to miss our guy. I think the Jets, I know they're in a home stretch right now, but I think all of you guys have to look at it and say, okay, I'm not sure Jeremiah Love is not going to be here at 6. The question is, which one of these other guys is going to be here? Because I got a feeling somebody's going to lose their water and jump on Caleb Downs or Ruben Bain or Francis Maui Noah before the 6th choice. I just got a hunch about that. I think there's going to be more than just Jeremiah Love sitting here. I really do. I think there's going to be more than just him sitting here. I don't think Sonny Styles, Carnell Tate, Arvell Reese, and David Bailey and Jeremiah Love are all going to be gone. But I also think there's going to be Jeremiah Love and somebody else in the company of Sonny Styles, Tate, Reese, and Bailey that's going to be left on the board at 6. So I know a lot of y'all are going to say, well, why would we want sloppy seconds? Well, no, you're going to get compensated well for those sloppy seconds. The question is, whoever's left on this board, whether it be Jeremiah Love, Styles, Tate, Reese, or Bailey, are you okay with trading back and allowing this? Because I'm going to be honest with you, if it's Jeremiah Love, this is not what you would hope for, but realistically, it's one of those situations where you could get more picks, more capital, and there's some good players. I get it. You're not going to get an elite player with this. Now, this is where a lot of you are going to push back on me and say, well, why would we want to miss out on a talent like David Bailey, Arvell Reese, Sonny Styles, or Carnell Tate? Because there's really solid talent here. And let's keep it in perspective, Jets fans. Why would you want to take Carnell Tate this year when you got Jeremiah Smith coming next season? You heard me. And y'all got the arsenal to get it. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you can get another first round pick in this year's draft, whoo, what he said. The question that most of the Jets organization needs to ask, are you seriously thinking you're going to compete this year? 2 years from now, it needs to be the year that you're thinking you're going to compete, because that is when your quarterback will be in his second year. These guys you're going to draft this year will be in their third year, and they should be making impacts. You got a possibility of getting 4 to 8 impact players off the rip. And it all depends on how you draft. And it all depends on whether you did your scouting. Now, I know theoretically, when you got that many picks, you don't want to get that many guys, because right now you're looking at the Jets and they've got 11 picks. So if you can move back in there, and I'm a firm believer, if you can get rid of those bottom picks, there's very few kids that get mis-scouted in college. I mean, you got guys like Jalen Coker who are the exception to the rule, undrafted free agents, and they're able to come out there and just ball. That's just bad, I guess Mel Kiper and them can't get it all right. But realistically, when you look here and you got your first 4 picks in the top 44, and then you have so many picks next season, 3 firsts and then a second. If you just have to decide how many elite players do you want to have in this draft that you got to deal with later on, because you're going to have to pay at least 2 of these guys if you stay as is. Or you could very well do something else that I talked about. You could very well package one of those first round picks from next year and trade back into the first round. That's another thing that could be talked about. You could package a deal, take some of those bottom end picks, maybe a first next year and a first this year, the 16th pick, or you could very well take your 2 seconds, packaged with that first, get back in, and still you have your 16th pick, and still you've got your other pick. And guess what? Now you've got 2 of the top players, and you still got one to grow on. You still got your 16th pick. Now, you don't have your seconds anymore, but the reality of it is now you've got 3 top-end players in this draft. How does that make you guys feel? This is why I said the Jets have the fuel and the passports of this draft. Let me know what you guys think. Should the Jets trade back and trade up, or should they stay where they are and then trade back up? Let me know what you guys think about that. Or should the Jets trade down with that number 2 pick and then take another guy and then whatever, maneuver? It's all in there, guys. Let me know what you think they should do. I'm interested. The Jets are in the most interesting spot in this draft this year. Also, make sure if you put your comments down there, please elaborate. I want to read it on the show, because here's the thing. I love this time of the year. Every draft is different. If we could replay it, I guarantee it wouldn't go down the same. But guys, make sure if you like the show, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that sub, as well as hit that bell notification so you can get all my episodes as they drop. Go over to Facebook and check out the group, Gridiron Gab Pro Style, and add us as a friend, Gridiron Gab Pro Style, on Facebook as well. Finally, if you want to get caught up with me and face-to-face and chop it up a little bit, hit me up on Instagram at Mr. CeeLo so you can keep up with all of my seasonal and out-seasonal shenanigans that I will be caught up in. But until the next time, same Gab channel, same Gab platform.
But behold, there is a warm breeze that comes from the west. The blazing sounds of victory fuel their everlasting quest. It is a call to arms, for they are here. An army that has the will to challenge and the will to dare.